Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you all so much for joining us today for this live stream event. My name is Alexia, and I am the Project and Event Manager of the Microsoft Reactor Toronto. I will be sharing session resources with you in the chat. But before we begin, I'd like to quickly review two items, our Code of Conduct and Event Guidelines. Please take a moment to review our Code of Conduct. Microsoft Reactor seeks to provide a respectful environment for both our audience and presenters. We encourage engagement in the chat, but please be mindful of your commentary, remain professional and on topic. And secondly, our event guidelines. This session is being recorded and will be available on demand through the Microsoft Reactor YouTube channel in about 24 to 48 hours. I will share the link in the chat for our YouTube channel. And if you've not been on a live stream through YouTube before, please note that you must create an account on YouTube in order to interact and access and interact with the chat. You can set that up now, and if you're unable to use the chat but have questions, feel free to reach out to us on social media or on Meetup. Which brings us to today's session. I'm going to bring in our speaker here in one quick second. Here, looks like we're having some difficulties. We will try to fix that right now. In the meantime, I can bring in our speaker who's going to be able to talk, just not to be seen. I'm going to add him here. Hi, Ashish. How are you today?
I'm good.
It's not going to work? Okay. I think we're good now.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, well, go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Alexia, for your interaction. And thank you, everybody, for joining the session. I'm Ashish Rana, Microsoft Business Application MVP and Microsoft Certified Trainer. So today I'm going to talk about multiple channel experience for customer service and marketing. I'm pretty sure many of you already heard of Omnichannel experience inside the marketing and customer service, etc. But today I'm going to talk about how the experience for agents and customers we can improve using our tools and capability provided by Dynamics 365. So without further ado, let's get into a quick slides of around a quick introduction. So as I mentioned, I'm Ashish Rana, I'm Microsoft Solution MVP, and also a Senior Solution Architect of Customer Engagement. I worked and lead many communities around the globe for Dynamics 365. Quite a good experience on implementing customer service, marketing, and project operations, similar products, etc. And at the same time, I do a lot of consulting around the Dynamics 365, quite a good experience on implementing the products, etc. So without further ado, I will deep dive into and talk about how omni-channel experience can provide improve the customer experience, and at the same time, how we can improve the not only customers but employee, which is our agents' experience at the same time. So on the top, we have the self-service portals, like self-engagement actually, which a customer will use to engage themselves. It can be a bot or a service recommendation based on the portal, etc. Right? At the same time, the product also provide a Dynamics 365 Omnichannel, also provide a capability to improve agents' productivity and how we can improve it, the agents' productivity with the unified contextual channels and experience throughout the various environments. That's why it's called unified interface, because the interface would be unique and unified in all the platforms. Some of the remote assist kind of capability, which provides more like AR. And then it at the same time provides an insights and AI. So it improves the performance across various channels, and it will also improve the agent's performance and utilization at the same time. Now, using the omnichannel engagement, we can unify the experience a customer provides, like our customer will get in across all the channels. That's why it's called omnichannel experiences, right? The multiple channels we are providing an enabler for our organization to provide a better experience support to our customers. And at the same time, some of the proactive services, like when somebody visited to our website and they are starting a conversation with an agent, they can simply see what was the engagement done by visitor or a customer before they land to a discussion with the or a phone call or a chat with the agent, right? So that's more like a system provides more proactive, like more assist to you and provides a more proactive insights. So let's talk about why does an agent engagement matters to us and why exactly it is the point. Now, from many years, actually, we were thinking and talk about the customer experience, like customers focused for us, right? But how an agent can provide a better customer experience when they are not able to find the right customer information at any given time, when their interfaces across the various platforms are not in unified form, right? And at the same time, at any given time or any point during the conversation with the customer, they don't have the right information or the knowledge actually to serve a customer. That again provides an agent cannot provide a good customer experience or a good agent experience at the same time, right? To overcome this issue and how customer will get actually once the agent have all these three things or multiple things related to that or category fixed by the products. Customer experience are and at the same time customer will not get like what customer will get because agents are having a problem during the experience side. They are not able to get their issue resolved faster. You need to move a customer call or a chat to various platforms or various multiple routing. Actually, if you call to any customer service nowadays, they'll put you for couple of hours for hold and then actually maybe route it to a call when somebody pick and the call routed to a wrong queue. Actually, then they have to again provide direct the call. You have to wait again. So those are not a good customer experience. And at the same time, because of the wait time and because of all these issues, the more transfer and the more, let's say, delays in the resolution, a company experience they are not able to fix a issue faster. It provides a better customer experience, lose the loyalty of the customer. At the same time, the agents are spending more time to fixing an issue with the improper tools than focusing on and resolving the customer's issue, right? So these are some of the issues start when you don't provide and not focused on agent experience, actually. So that's some of the very high level important points actually I mentioned. Now, let's talk about how we can fix all these issues with a single product and with the Omnichannel engagement capabilities. So in Dynamics 365 customer service, as we know, it's a customer service tool, and Omnichannel is an add-on tool on top of Dynamics 365 customer service. So it provides a capability for a lot of channels. Actually, like you can use the self-service portals. Like if you go to any website, take an example, HP, you're having some issue in your laptop, you go to the portal. You can look for articles, try to fix your issue using the customer service tool. And that is something like self-service. It provides a service to you using the portal. No engagement required. It's just a one-time setup. And then a customer can fix their own issues based on articles and etc. Right? It provides, again, the self-service portals provide a capability like forums, communities, etc. Right? Email is a channel. Like many times you're facing an issue, you send an email to an ID, support at hp.com or support at microsoft.com, etc. Right? Anything. So that is one of the channel your customer communicates with you. Another channel can be a chat. So let's say if I'm having an issue and I don't want to wait for 3 hours for a call, I will start a chat sometime. I will enter my information and the chat will start with the bot, actually, right? Bot is another channel which is embedded inside the chat. So I'm having a conversation with the bot. If bot is able to fix my issue or redirect me to the right queue, that's perfect. Else I will start a conversation with the agent, which is like a actual human agent, live agent. That's how we call it as live chat. And again, it's integrated with bot. SMS can be another channel, right? Sending an SMS to the number which is provided by the company for provider support services. And again, voice is last and most famous channel actually across the globe. Every customer and everybody sitting around use the voice channel like a call services, right? So those channels are very important, and that's why it's called omni-channel. Like you can switch a channel in between the conversation. So let's say if I start a call as a voice, and I can simply convert this to the chat, or I can start a conversation with the bot, move the conversation to the chat, etc., and the phone call, video, etc. Right? So those are some of the options provided on the channel engagement side. Now we have agent experience. An agent provide an omni-channel and multiple session experience, and at the same time, it provides a lot of productivity tools actually. So let's say when a conversation started with the customer, an agent can see what the customer was looking for, and based on the topic, etc., it will give you some smart assist kind of option, like it will give you how another agent or my colleague actually fix that issue with using some of the examples, right? Like a similar cases, how exactly we are able to fix that issue. And at the same time, we are able to use some of the recommended articles based on the conversation. So what Smart Assist will do, it's an AI tool. It will actually look at the conversation you're having with the customer, and based on that, it will pick a right knowledge article and give it to you. So those are some advanced productivity improvement tools we have. And at the same time, what supervisor will get, because at the agent, we are very important for us to provide the better supervisor experience, right? So supervisor can see and monitor the chat any given time. They can see how many conversations are going on, what their sentiments are, because system provide life's real-time sentiment analysis. And at the same time, if let's say any sentiment going negative or not up to the quality, then they can monitor the chat, they can jump and join the chat, and all these things, right? In a few minutes, I'm going to show all these features in a quick demo, how those function and can be work and looks like. Now, again, apart from Omnichannel, as I mentioned before the slide, it's built on or comes with the customer service capability, right? So it provides and inherit all the customer service capabilities, including the case management, business hour, etc., like SLA management, entitlement, and all these things. You can manage the core customer service level. And at the same time, Microsoft provides SDK, like software development kits, to extend the capability. So let's say, apart from this 5 or 6 listed channel, if your company is using any other channel, which is, let's say you have phone call, but it's not on Azure, it's on some third-party provider, you can bring on those chat or any other extra channel, which is outside the Microsoft ecosystem, and you can embed this using channel interface framework, CIF, which we call channel interface interface framework. So, channel integration framework. So that's something you can use to integrate any third-party channel to bring on the data to Omnichannel and provide, again, better engagement and customer agent experience to your agents. Now, at the same time, intelligence-wise, it provides historical real-time analysis, Power BI reports, lots of analysis actually comes with the tool. And again, it'll come view and provide all the different KPIs measured based on the different channels. And at the same time, because the channel we are using one of the channel as voice, it will again configure in such a way it will again talk and get the insights of the call insights. So what is the meaning of it? So it will read when your agent having a conversation with the customer, they can sense, they can read all the words. It will create, like it will convert the voice to transcript, like a real-time transcription, and at the same time, it will use those transcripts to analyze the data, how fast or how slow your agents are speaking, are they using the product and services in between, or they are happy with their services or not, their sentiments are. So you can use those data to improve your like training services, to improve your services around for the agent and customer experience. Without further ado, I will talk about the communication platform. So how all these channels works in a platform architecture actually. So we have Dynamics 365, which is core application as sales, customer service, Omnichannel, and again, it provides a personalized agent experience. And again, then on top of we have the various channels actually sitting on, which is start from Azure Communication Services, which supports the voice and SMS as a channel. And again, before ACS, Microsoft was supporting, and again, it still supports Twilio and Telesign as an SMS provider. So you can use those to start with the SMS and WhatsApp and other channel integrations. You can again extend the channel to social media, Teams, all the channels. If let's say your organization looking for IVR solution, right? So when somebody dial a phone call, you can redirect based on the key number entered by the customer or a visitor. So that is more like an IVR service as most of the organization use to redirect a call to the right specific queue and to the agent or the team, right? So you can use the Power Virtual Agent as IVR services to provide and route the call and different other information, right? And on the bottom, we have the website. Now, good thing about you can embed a live chat widget to any website. Not only it should be Microsoft portal, it can be any other third-party portals. You can use the assist view, like assist in a sense. It will again, you can embed the Power Virtual Agent into the chat bot, and then you can embed the chat widget to the website, right? With all these things, it will create the insight at the bottom. It calls Service Insights. It's powered by Power BI. And again, on top of, we have the customer voice sitting on it. So any channel, let's say, once a conversation done with the customer on SMS or a phone call or a, let's say, chat, you can pick any channel. You can send a survey and asking them to provide us a feedback on what information actually would you receive, whether it's good or not, right? So you can take a feedback. And again, as we know, the customer voice provides, and it's an enterprise level survey management tool. So you can use those data and you can create some actionable insights. And again, you can bring the data in Dynamics and use it for marketing, use it for campaign, and use to improve and boost the customer experience, right? So those kind of, now we have the data coming in, and it depends on our experience side, how we can manipulate and how we can use the data to create actionable insights. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about more focus again on the agent experience, because that's a core topic I'm looking for right now. So we have a customer service hub application, which is like a core customer service hub inside the Dynamics. And as we know, we have, because it's a customer service hub application, we have core information like cases management, which is more like a ticket management jobs, like people call different names, but it's more like a case management, complaint management kind of option you can see. We have SLA, like service level agreement, how frequently or how soon I have to fix an issue, which is open or complaint raised by the customer. Activities like a phone call activity, email activity, etc. Articles, you can use the knowledge base article, and the queue management. And because all the conversation should route to a specific queue, so queue management is the straight and center part of the whole core customer service hub. Then we have the customer service workspace. And what's the difference between customer service workspace and omnichannel? So it provides, like, both the system provides a capability of multiple session experience. Excuse me. So it provides a multiple session experience. So let's say you're not looking for a chat or a phone call kind of capability, but you're looking for a multiple session where your agent can work on a case multiple at a one time, right? So they can have multiple chats session open, and they can switch between the case very seamlessly instead of opening a multiple browser window, and they can look for all the data, etc. So that is something can be done and used very easily by the customer service workspace. It creates a session whenever you are having a conversation, or when you want to work with the work on a case, etc. Right? You can again use those to use as a productivity tool for the agents. So like using a macros, using a scripts, and using the smart assist, etc. You can use those to provide the right information to your agent. Again, it boosts the agent experience. And at the last, the Omnichannel workspace, and what Omnichannel provides. Omnichannel provides an end-to-end conversation between the channels. So conversation word is used in the presentation to redirect a conversation start by a customer. So let's say if I'm a customer, I'm facing a laptop issue or any issue, let's say product or service issue, I simply go to the website, look for the number or anything. So I identify which is my preferred channels, and I pick a channel based on my availability or the working hour, etc. I can start a chat or a conversation with the bot, phone call, email, any channel, right? So whenever I choose a channel, I start a conversation that represents the conversation here, right? So whenever you're having or agent start a conversation, that is mean by they had started a conversation with the agents, right? Agent between agent and customer. And at the same time, there's something statement given here as the application tab. So in each session of a conversation or a case in the customer service workspace example, we can have multiple application tab opens. So what is the meaning of it? Let's say I'm working on a case, or take an example. I'm working on a conversation. I'm having a conversation which is like a live chat conversation with a customer. And at the same time, I want to look for any external website to see what products we have. And at the same time, I will look for, because the customer is having an issue, their product is not delivered on time. So I need to look for the knowledge base article. What is the SOP, standard operating procedure, or what is the process inside my company I have to follow when a customer not able to get their product delivered on time, right? So those are the knowledge article I refer. And so instead of opening these in different tabs on a browser, because I may miss some conversation which is customer need my attention. So that's why it provides an open multiple application tab within a session. So an agent cannot switch between the various browser tabs to provide and good customer experience, right? Because if they look for something like a knowledge base article, they spend a few minutes there. By the time customer sent some messages, they're not able to reply, they'll frustrate, right? Frustrate in the sense they are not able to happy with the kind of service your agent provides. So that's again come back to the not a good agent's experience we're providing as per the tools, right? So that's the meaning of application tab here. And I'm going to give a quick overview of it in a few minutes. And then again, we have the bot automation, which again, you can use the Power Virtual Agent or any other, you can bring your own bot using the bot framework from Azure, right? So those capability are provided. Now, what we can use actually with this, we can use again the Omni customer voice as the survey management tool to harness the data from and provide from the customer who got recent experience with us. And also we can use the same data from the customer for the customer insights, more like a customer service insight, customer insights to provide more, let's say, in-depth analysis of the topic, cases, etc. Right? So without further ado, I'm going to deep dive into a quick overview of the supervisor dashboards, and then I'm going to jump into the demo. So here we have a couple of dashboards provided on inbuilt on Power BI, and which is embedded inside the Omnichannel application. So a supervisor they can see list of all the conversation which is having ongoing on or in the waiting state. Because not, let's say if you have a team of 10 people and you have 50 conversation coming at a time, you cannot assign 50 to 10 people, right? Obviously you can, but it depends on how your organization structure and process you define, right? You say at a given time, only 2 chat or 2 conversation can be a combination of phone call or a chat or 1 chat, 1, let's say, SMS conversation. At any given time, any combination of two conversation can be assigned to an agent. That it means you're assigning a capacity to them that will not go over the capacity. If it come like more chat flowing in the application or coming from the web or from the customers, you can, and a supervisor can see what's the wait time and how exactly they can route and start and monitor the chat at any given time, right? They can see, as I mentioned, the real-time sentiments. If let's say any conversation going negative to very negative, so they can protect and bring the customer experience again back to the normal and understanding. So those are some monitor as some of the options we have, right? So with this, I'm going to jump straight to the demo. Give me a moment. I will put this here. Okay, so give me a minute. Let me duplicate this and yeah, perfect. So here I have a customer called Blake Smith, and that's something I put a name, and that's my phone number. So what I'm going to do, I will start a quick conversation with the phone call and see how the Omnichannel application looks like, right? So, oops, sorry about that. Yeah, it's just my team is getting a call. So I can set up a various channels. Here you can see in the Omnichannel application, we have channels. I can simply click on account and channel. I can select which channel I want to configure, Apple Message Business, custom channel, any say for a custom channel you want to bring in, Facebook, Line, Teams, SMS, Twitter, etc. WhatsApp even, you can assign and you can connect to your WhatsApp business account here. And I already have one SMS provided connected to Tivlio, and which is basically to send a SMS to my number, and I can have as an agent, can have a conversation here. So when I send an SMS to this number, I'll get a reply, I'll get a message from the customer, and I can start the conversation. So those are some of the configuration I did for the demo. So I'm going to deep dive into right now the agent experience application. So that's an application, an app called Omnichannel for Customer Service. It provides it. That is something logged in by the agent. Now what I'm going to do, I will actually dial a number, and before that, yeah, give me a minute. Let me pick up my phone, and I'm going to dial a number and I'm going to show you the real time how the experience looks like. Okay, sorry, but then I have to look for the number. Let me see if it's the same. So here, an agent, what supervisor will get when a conversation is coming up, right now is blank, but I already started the phone call to the number actually, which I configured, and somebody call. Now, because my number is already there, within a few minutes, you'll see a conversation started, voice call requested from the number, which is coming from my phone. And now as an agent, I have approximate 35 or 40 seconds. That's those data we can configure. How much the wait time? So as an agent, I can accept the call or I can reject it. Now let's say if I accept the call, what I'm going to do, I will put on this on very low volume because I don't want it to create the echo. Now what it'll do, it will first create a session within the tool, and it will look for if this number belongs to anybody. Sorry. If this number belongs to anybody. So if I was not on putting mute, that's why. So now here, what exactly I'm going to do, it's the recording started by default, and it will actually create a transcript. So whatever I'm saying, it basically created 12 transcript, like customer is starting saying something, and I'm having a conversation with the customer, right? You see, now I'm speaking here. Oops, here S. You will see it will create a transcript, real-time transcription of all the conversation. Now, consider this as a voice call. It's not a chat, right? So I'm having, as an agent, I'm having a conversation, and I'm having a conversation from the other side, right? So that's like a bi-directional, and you see the real-time, it'll create the transcripts. Now you say, I need to create a transcript at the same time, translation in different language. Let's say when a conversation starts in French, you need a provider to translate the French to English, and all this transcript can be translated from English to French to English and save as part of the conversation, right? That's something possible. Now, at this point of time, I cannot say, I cannot change the sentiment, but now what I'm going to do, if I go back home, and as a supervisor, I can see there's a conversation going on. It's an active status. And I can select, I can copy the URL, I can click on monitor, because right now I don't need to monitor this conversation. That's why it's disabled. And I can, as a supervisor, I can see list of all the conversation with different channel, like a voice call, chat, etc. coming up, right? So let me start a chat at the same simultaneously, right? That's a portal I'm using by default. Now I'm going to create Smith, and I will start a chat conversation, right? And let's see how the conversation look like from the chat. So as soon as I start dialing, I'll start typing. A bot will pick up the chat, and again, it will give me some options to resolve my issues. Now you see, I'm virtual agent. How can I help you? So I can select like what exactly I'm facing. Let's say I'm facing some product issue. So again, you can configure the bot as the way you want. I have Smart Brew 100,000, and you can see, and it just keep asking you the questions just to understand what exactly the issues you have. I would say water flow issue, right? And once after that, again, bot try to fix that issue with something else. I would say, can this help you? I would say, no, it does not. So in that case, what exactly bot will do? It will look for an agent, or I can say transfer to an agent. Now, what it will does, it will actually pick the conversation from the bot and transfer it to the chat, to an agent, okay? So give me a minute. Live agent, let's see. If it's not, I'm going to start the chat again. Okay. Yeah, so we are transferring this conversation to an agent because actually I made some mistake on the typing, so that's why it's not able to pick the right information. So now you see, I got a ping, and here, this live chat with the positive started from Blake, right? And let me mute this, okay? Else it'll create a sound. So here, this is the conversation you start from the customer experience side, and here I'm having a agent experience looking for, like, as a supervisor agent, you can see. Now, one active conversation, which is like a phone call still going on, because still started, and this is the open. Open means still not assigned, still is waiting in the queue, right? So if I go back here, you are next in the line because there is no other conversation going on. And as I mentioned, conversation can be a phone call, it can be email, it can be chat, etc. Right? So as a supervisor, I can see list of all the different chat, different messages, or different, let's say, conversations started by the customers. If I go back here, you see I'm speaking different things, and everything actually with whatever I'm saying right now, it's basically translated to the transcription to an English. And as a agent, I can look for the smart assist. Right now it's not showing any recommendation, but as soon as I start looking for a case or talking about looking for the right cases information, it will look for the right knowledge base article or similar suggestion for the cases. And again, pick a agent script. This means by if an agent actually having a conversation, they need to follow some procedures like greet the customer, verify their customer information, and open a case, redirect that routing if it's not in the right queue, etc. Right? So those are more like SOP. I'm going to show you in the chat option, and then you can look for the knowledge base article. You can search within the screen the article. Let's say product delivery issue. It will look for all the product delivery issues and give you some option like a return and exchange, right? And again, it will give you as an agent whether it's an external article, you can send this to the customer link, or it's for internal reference, right? You can also use some of the tabs like a experience wise, which is, let me minimize this just to make it a bit higher, bigger. I can click on it here, and it will open, show me a list of all the application tabs. So I can look for all the activities, like I need to see list of recent email send. I need to look for any contact information, queue, etc. So I can click on it, and it will again open a multiple tab in the same session. So that's why it's called a session. One session contains multiple application tabs.
Can you share your screen one more time? It's not following that.
Okay. Oops, sorry about that. I think so I made something. Now it's good. Oh, perfect. So I actually switched the screen and didn't told you. Okay, perfect. So here you can look for multiple application tabs, and here you can see any kind of data I can open. I can look for my name as a contact. I can look for any information within the same session actually. And if I go back here, I can see the conversation. I can open and expand this conversation for my further issues fixing, right? So I can again then add somebody to consult with me as a transfer or team. I can key in the number if I have to dial the number to bring somebody in. I can transfer the chat or transfer this phone call to a right queue or to a team or external number or a extension code I am looking for. I can pause the recording. I can pause the transcription. I can enter the number keypad actually here. I can mark this phone as a spam. So all this information which an agent can looking for or are looking for during the phone call, they can see here in the same options. Now what I can do, I can link this conversation to a contact, and once I does that, it will pull me all the activities, everything within that same tool, right? So it will create all the different activities. If I keep scrolling down, I can see a contact link to this conversation. So what is the meaning of it? So once the conversation is done by an agent, automatically system will pick this conversation attached to this contact. So whenever somebody, let's say from your marketing team, your sales team, anybody in your whole Dynamics 365 team, they're looking for some information, they can actually simply pick the data and look for what was the issue was customer faced, right? So again, you can use the similar kind of data as an activity to harness and again use in the customer insights to pull and create a customer 360 degree, right? So those are some possibility can be done with more advanced features. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I will end this phone call and let me disconnect from here also. Yeah, it's done. So perfect. And now as an agent, I got a couple of minutes of time just to wrap up the conversation. So I can take the transcript, take a notes. I can click here and I can take a note quickly to cancel the call, before I end the conversation. And it'll attach again the notes to the contact because I select a contact. You can not only attach any conversation to a contact, you can attach also to a case. Let's say any case customer was looking for the existing case, or you can click on a button, create a new case. It will open a new case screen, pick the contact. You can simply type what was the case customer is looking for having an issue, and you can simply create a case, route a case to the right queue or You can do different things, right? Those are some of the standard functionality of custom voice you can do within that customer or agent experience in the Omnichannel. Now, as an agent, I'm going to cancel the conversation and close this. Now, once the conversation is closed, I'm again go back to my this dashboard, and you see within few seconds, because my capacity was free, until unless the capacity was not free, it was showing in do not disturb mode. But now my capacity is again back to available. Automatically a conversation assigned to me. Now I have again for because it's a chat request from Blake Smith. That's the name I actually put when I start the conversation, and it escalated from bot. So as an agent, I can see this is something like a customer static conversation with the bot. Now because bot not fix the issue or out of FAQs, etc., it'll just transfer the conversation for the live discussion, right? So I have another 81 or 80 seconds left to accept or reject the application, like to reject the conversation. Let's see what system will does if I reject it. Right now, because there is no other agent available, it will again assign the chat back to me, right? Because there is nobody available. If it's multiple people, then again, it will look for the capacity, what's the capacity available, and what are the different things, right? Different queues, etc., available at any given time. Now, as an agent, I click on accept the chat. Automatically, a conversation started here. So now see, as an agent, I can review the conversation which started by the bot with the customer, and I can see like commented by customer and virtual agent, and transferred by the bot, right? That's the final comment before transferring the conversation. So I can use some of the quick replies. I'd say type hello, and I can use some of the quick reply. Let's say, how may I assist you, right? And as a customer, I get some message, right? Ashish Rana joined the conversation because that's the name of the agent who started the conversation. Hello, looking to fix some issues for my machine, right? So I can just simply start typing, and I can type here, and then it'll go back to and attach this to the agent experience side, right? So it's showing slightly positive because customers looking to fix some issue. They didn't use any negative word. So let's say if I used need to fix it now, right? Something like that. And let's see if it's how quickly it will do that. So again, it will create a sentiment as the positive because nobody mentioned any negative or positive points. Now let's say put the conversation not happy, right? So I'm just putting some hard negative words, and within that few seconds of time, it will change the conversation sentiments to negative, like not exactly very negative, just slightly negative. Now, what as a supervisor can do in this point of time, I'm going to go back to home, and as a supervisor, I can see this conversation is active, assigned to oops, I have to scroll right because of the small screen. Assigned to me, that's a active agent, and it's going slightly negative. Now, once it's more negative, I can simply click on it here and click on monitor. Now, monitor means it's not I'm jumping into the conversation between a customer and my agent, right? As a supervisor, I can monitor why the customer's experience or sentiments going negative, why they're using some negative words, right? They are not happy. Nobody is using that negative word. It's just because of the service they are getting from the company, they're not happy. So they're just using and expressing their feelings and expression using the word. So based on the word, we'll pick and we'll use the analysis on the sentiment side, right? Whether it's a positive, negative category of word. Now, as an agent also, I can have tons of information coming and flowing here, right? So I can see my past closed conversation, and that is something like a few minutes before I was having a phone call. I can see my active conversation. That's why it's showing active. I can see all my open conversation, open in a sense, let's say a conversation is open, anybody or any agent can pick and jump into the discussion, right? So those things can be possible. So I can simply pick a conversation if nobody is picking up. It's a pool actually. So it will directly jump to the pool. And as an agent, I can pick and start working on it. Now, again, I can use some of the agent script side. So let's say this is one of the agent script information I was telling you on the SOP standard post procedure side. So whenever a conversation starts, you can greet the customer. It's done. Verify the customer because it's coming from bot. It's already verified, and I can see the name of the customer. Send a knowledge base article. The customer is looking for. Let me see if I have any knowledge base article, right, for that water flow issue. So I will put water and see if we have any installation of water filter. I have one, and what I can do, I can simply pick this one, and it will open this in the new window. I will minimize this, and again, I can send this to my customer. I can link this to the customer. So I can link this, and it will link this this whole article and put this in the chat, right? Or I can send this an email if it's for external, and looks like this is for external. So I can send those to the information to the customer. Because customer is facing an issue, I can simply click on this button and create a case. Again, it's same experience for an agent, different channel, different customer, but same experience. That's why it's called agent experience on the omnichannel side, unified interface, unified experience in various channel. Because this customer is more like it's more like a visitor. It's not a technically visitor. It's, we know the name because it's filled by the customer. I can again see some details. Let's say if it's a visitor with no information provided, I can see which browser they're using, what's their windows, like what's the desktop application, how much the wait time, which queue they move to, when they start the conversation, etc. Right? So all this information an agent should see will be available for them. Now, there's a couple of things. One is the location. So let's say if I'm starting a conversation instead of Toronto from Montreal, right? And we know Montreal preferred people have languages French, right? So based on the location, we can create a routing rules. Whenever a conversation starts from Montreal, it will be automatically assigned to a French speaking person, right? So we actually starting a conversation and picking to the right queue, and then somebody from the French team will pick the conversation. So those are some directional based on the geographic location. That can be, again, it's subjective, and again, required some additional configuration based on the location, etc. Right? So if I go back up, there's a couple of things we can do. So when it comes to now, you say, again, it's pretty good, but what is the useful of it? Can we change? Yes. Based on my past experiences, we are able to modify to a certain extent all this application to the form, etc. We can again look for the right information a customer is looking for on defining a process, and that can be done pretty quickly and easily. Now, a couple of features I would like to show you. When I click on voice, now I'm having a conversation with a customer, and I would like to call them. Because I'm not able to fix that issue, and I would like to show they share the screen, or if it's some service issue or some laptop issue, something like that, I would like them to share the screen. So within the tool, we have co-browsing and different other capability to sharing a screen and co-browse it to like use in the multiple co-browsing space. We can again at the same time initiate a phone call. So let's say here the voice call requested, or I can initiate a video call. And if I go to this window, I should see a phone call coming up within a few minutes, right? So here I request a phone call, and on the top of the chat widget, you will see a phone call coming from the end initiated by the customer. So let me disconnect this and start it again. Looks like something not going on. Okay, and let's see if it's coming up. Else I have to move on because sometime, okay, not really is coming up. So let me end this, but yeah, so you as a customer, I should see a phone call widget on the top of the screen. It can be a phone call or a video call. It can be initiated. So that's why the use of the Omnichannel initiated, like a conversation from a voice to chat and chat to voice. Something like that, right? So that can be done. Now, what I'm going to do, once the conversation is done, I'm going to click on end, and I will end the conversation, right? Because that's something my conversation is done. Now, what it'll do, it will actually load takes few seconds and load a session feedback, actually, which you had with your customers. So I would say session feedback, how you like to capture your Microsoft Reactor experience with us, right? So I can, as a customer, I can provide a rating here. I can provide it to as expected, something like that. I can provide something like that, right? So I can provide some of the feedback, and when I click on submit, it will automatically capture my feedback and it'll go to customer voice. So if I open customer voice right now, I'm going to open my support project, which is a feedback, and I can go to reports. So I can go to customer case resolution survey, and I can see all the different survey responded by different people. It's here. So this is like a few seconds before somebody put the survey, right? So I can see their anonymous, because it's we don't have the contact link to the survey. So that's why it's showing anonymous, but I can see what their responses are. So I can see they are not very satisfied in time on resolution, but they are pretty satisfied on resolving the issue on the first call, right? So those kind of feedback we can directly and immediately get in our feedback management tool. Now what we can do, we can use some of the matrix and create some alert, and again use those data, harness the data to create some action to improve our processes and improve the customer satisfaction, right? So if I go back to the screen, so here I embedded this customer feedback or survey within that chat widget. So that is also possible when you are having a conversation, or a customer having a conversation with an agent, like SMS. So once the SMS conversation is done, you can simply send a survey to take the feedback and capture the experience from the customer, right? So I have some time here. I'm going to cancel this and close this conversation. So now you see within a few seconds, once I close, it will change from red to green again, because red means I'm busy. This means my partial capacity is consumed. Green means I'm available. My capacity 100% available for me to assign chat or for any kind of conversation to me. If it's showing do not disturb, like a red circle with line, something like that, it means my capacity is 100% consumed, or I'm not interested right now to take a phone call. Right? So that's one of the things. I can change this to appears away because I want to take some break. So I can change this to away. This means if I'm away, no conversation will be assigned to me. So, or I can put offline because I want to work offline for after my shift hour, right? Something like that. So only for available and busy, these are the two statuses when a conversation assigned to an agent. All these three statuses, the conversation will not be assigned to an agent because agent is not available at the moment to take any conversation, right? And again, we have some quick overview of the cases and inboxes. You can again use this discussion. So you can also embed a email to chat email option, like as a channel to embed within the Omni channel to provide again experience, and they can have a conversation of email within that tool, right? If I go back home, I see two conversation end. And before I'm going to go back and show you some of the Omni-channel historic data, right? Some of the KPIs. So if I go back here, okay. Let me see, it's loading, else I will use some information. Let me refresh the screen. Okay, so let's try it again to go to the historic KPIs. It will take some time. By the time it's taking a little bit of longer. Okay, it's loading. So I'm going to show you some configurations here, which I used to do for the Omni-channel. So here we have different channels, as I mentioned, you can define. So for each channel, there is a one or many workspace we assign. So we have defined different workspaces here. So let's say for SMS, I define a workspace. So what is the use of workspace here? So workspace will define, and if I go and edit, that's something I showed you a few minutes before. That's a number. That's a message and SMS messaging channel I used. What's the language I should prefer? What's the behavior it should be? Do you have a business hour or office hours? If you say yes, then during the only office hours, the conversation will be routed. Else by the time the conversation will not be routed to, or it'll go to a, let's say, automated messages. And you can customize those customize those messages, right? Once the conversation is done by SMS or by the customer, you can again embed a conversation link and what the message will show, how your experience with us, share your feedback in the survey, and you embed this link within that SMS. So I'm showing you the experience with the both side, right? Bot conversation survey. So once the bot conversation is done, do you want to embed the same survey within that bot also, right? So that's again some of the features we have to embed it. So this is like more of a core configuration of the setup, actually, you can say, from the Workspace side. Now, work distribution model, actually, which is used to distribute the conversation or route this to the right queue, right? It can be, so there's some of the settings actually you can use. So mostly for SMS conversation, the minimum time usually take it's 1 to 2 days or 8 hours at least, because not everybody is having and sending an SMS very frequently to you, right? When you start a conversation, you send an SMS, it'll take at least a couple of hours for them to reply, or not immediately. But when it comes to live chat or a phone call, it's like instantaneously somebody is actively listening to you and they're ready to reply, because that's why their auto activity close time will be a bit shorter. And for, let's say, for chat again, will be something like 1 to 2 hours you should put. So those are some of the standard method you should put. So what is the meaning of it? Let's say your agent actually working on a conversation, but customer is not replying. So this means customer is not actively, or they are, I think, away, because we are not able to track their status and different things, right? Because of the consideration of data policies. What exactly we'll do? We'll wait for 15 or the number of times or setup we do in this window, automatically close the activity like a conversation, and free up the capacity of an agent assigned to somebody else, like somebody else in a sense, like another agent, another conversation will be assigned to the agent, right? So those things can be done here. Now, when it comes to SMS, that's why I mentioned it should be at least 8 hours minimum, because somebody is not very frequently, or they are not actively replying to the SMSs, right? Now, there is some methods actually how a conversation will be assigned. These are more like a work distribution. They're distributing a conversation in the application, right? So it can be push. Push means once a conversation is started by an agent, by a customer, you are pushing them to an agent based on the available capacity. So their statuses and their how many conversations assigned, etc. Right? You are assigning and pushing the conversation. Or if you like to say pick, then in sense every time a conversation go to the pool, which I showed you a few minutes before, open work items, and then as a agent's responsibility, they'll pick up an item and assign to themselves, right? So that's some more like a picking and working on it, like you can pick and choose. Now, when it comes to push, it automatically assign to you based on the model, which is like a capacity and work distribution free capacity, right? And again, we have the capacity, which is like unit-based capacity. Unit-based means if, let's say, it's a agent's capacity, if I put 100, and if I assign one chat or one SMS this conversation, it will consume 50 as the unit capacity. So that's why I put 50. It means at one point of time, if a SMS assigned to them, it will just consume the 50% of the capacity. So one given time, 2 capacity or 2 conversation will be assigned to an agent, like a 2 chat or 2 SMS, etc. can be assigned, right? Those are the things. So whenever block a capacity for rev up, always block, or just block capacity for 5 minutes. So it means once the conversation done on the SMS side, it will just take 5 minutes of your time to block your capacity, and then after 5 minutes just to do a wrap of the session, and after conversation notes, and then it will again you are available to take another chat, right? To take another SMS or chat. Now, what are the different allowed presence actually, which is the meaning of how many on what status is a conversation or SMS conversation will be assigned to you. It should be available, busy, do not disturb, or away. It does not make any sense to push somebody to take another conversation or assign a conversation to do not disturb or away, because they are not actively looking for, or they are not at the system. So these are some configuration we define in the work distribution model. Those setups are very similar for all the different channels. That's why I'm picking one. You can again add the bot. So for SMS also, you can add the bot here. You can pick your bot. You can name it. Let's say, I'm going to use the customer service PBA, and I can save and close. So within few seconds, you are able to attach your bot to the to the work distribution model, let's say work stream, right? I can show you some advanced capacity. This means you can edit the session templates. So when a conversation is started, you see a quick on the left-hand side, right side of the screen, a quick window will be open for you with a button like accept and reject or some couple of fields. So those fields actually are using the templates actually, right? So all this notification templates can be defined by you, or you can edit this actually, like what kind of template should use when a chat is coming from unauthentication way, authentication, consult, transfer, supervisor assign, or you can create your own notification templates by click on this button, right? So those kind of standard setup you can use. You can again use the Smart Assist. It again supports the AI feature to give you list of all the knowledge articles and again use some of the information around a similar or case resolution, similar cases, and you can use again it will use the bot as a use function to take the conversation ahead, right? And automatically it will use the conversational variable, context variable, so it will be useful for when a conversation assigned to it. This means when a conversation assigned from bot to an agent, it will take the phone number and assign to an agent, so agent can automatically pick the right information to pick the right customer from the pool. You can add some of the quick replies, right? So whenever a conversation assigned, you want a quick notification to be sent on the chat or the conversation window or a SMS in this case. You can add those quick replies here. Or you can customize your own, or you can use from the standard given in the list. So these are some of the standard configuration methods we follow. And at the same time, I would like to show you some of the options before I open this for any Q&A you have. Let's say some of the customer settings or customer experience. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. So customer experience, I can manage all my quick replies. I can manage and create my own quick replies. And that's again, depending on the organization policies, whether they want their agent can create their own quick replies. And quick replies are, instead of typing whole message, you simply type the keyword and look for a right message for you, and you simply click on enter. Your message will go through. Try out your new experience on the transcript side. These are some of the options which is added here for agents and for configuration people like me to initiate and use the new experience for your customers. Again, your quick replies. This is the difference between the personal one in here. This is managed by the organization. This is managed by like a personal user. As an agent, I can create my own replies for the customers. Like rich messages, it will again create a better experience between customer and agent. It provides a rich messaging experience for them. Agent scripts, which we already talked about, different step-by-step guidance or standard methods for your agents to follow. Macros, it can be used for any kind of automation. So let's say when you click on a button from the script, agent script, it will create and open a case, right? Case window for you, or looking for the knowledge base article based on the last or the first issue reported by the customer, right? Those are some automation you can use. Real-time translation. You can use the real-time translation, which we are doing from, you can use any kind of setup the language. If I click on it, I can first of all, real-time translation required a quick provider. So when you're looking for, you need to provide a web resource URL. And again, you can use some third-party providers, and in the docs, you can find the right resources if you're looking for real-time translation. And these are some of the standard methods like sentiment analysis, message template, and different things that you can look for and define for your agents, right? So these are some setup which is focused on agent. Anybody, any questions? Okay, perfect. So again, something like I would like to show you on the data masking side. So here, let's say if your agent is working on or customer some critical data like a credit card information, something like that, right? Or their social security number, SIN number, etc. You can profile those and you can data mask it. So let's say when a data belongs to a customer and let's say credit card information, instead of showing everything to an agent, you are just showing the first and last 4 digits of the credit card, right? Or a phone number. Phone number is something like, if something, it's again depend on the policy. And again, for the SIN number, some of those data we are masking it actually, not to provide whole information. And again, we are using some custom percents and different formattings here. And I'm going to talk about some quickly on the user attribute side. So this is something will be very useful when you have different skills actually which you assign to an agent. So let's say each agent head belongs to some skills like they speak in a different language, their product experience is different. Let's say you have different product and services, so you can look for those information, and then again it provides those skills actually. So what are the use of skills? When a conversation starts, based on the keywords which we pick from the conversation, you are actually picking up the data and assign this, picking up the conversation and assign this to the right agent based on the skills matched by the agent. So that is more like a skills-based routing, which we call it, right? You route a conversation based on the skills matched by an agent, what skills is looking by your customers. Like, as a customer, I don't need to select a skill, right? I'm looking for this skill agent, right? It is just based on my actions and based on my data I'm entering, start the conversation. Automatically, system will pick the skill and assign it to them, right? Or based on some, let's say, bot configuration, based on the product I choose, based on the region I select, right? Those are the skills or defining criteria for the routing of conversation. As I mentioned, you can again define the capacity here. So let me open and show you a quick overview of the capacity for a agent. So here we have a list of all the different users. Oops, let me pick here and pick a voice here. And I'm the user here. So what I'm going to do, I will actually open my user information. And here I can manage, this is like very similar experience which you use to get in the user side, but it's a additional template will be added here. It's omnichannel, and I can manage the capacity as 100, or I can manage to 50. So when I just change this to 50, and as we know, my capacity for the SMS is 50. Now my capacity for the SMS and my capacity match the exact number. This means when I'm working on a customer and having a conversation with the SMS side, a system will not assign me any other conversation because my capacity is 100% consumed. If I make changes to, let's say, 200, and as we know, SMS capacity is 50, I can have 4 SMS conversation going simultaneously. So I can, as a company or as a customer service manager, omnichannel manager, I can define those criteria, which user or which agent can take multiple conversation. And now we are just assigning a capacity as an organization wide, and then we are assigning an individual capacity for each channel. Now, based on the number of number of conversation assigned, it will be 100% depending on the user's capacity. Default presence is available, and their omnichannel phone number is this. Like, you can pick a phone call, or you can click on new, and you can create a phone number for the agent. So whenever a call drops, they can simply dial the number for to the customer. Sorry. Now again, if I go back here, I would like to show you something like a phone call. So let me change this to available. And I can simply click on in this icon. It will open the dialer for me. And before I open the dialer, I can see a list of all the outbound list. So what I did actually here for this demo, I added a quick a list of phone calls, and I can pick any phone calls here from the list. So let's say I'm going to pick a phone call here, and I need to dial this number. So instead of dialing and using the various other options to use the third-party providers, you can simply open the dial. I can dial the number manually here, or I can simply click on this icon. It will again pick this application and dial the number for me. So as soon as I click on dial, it will dial the number for me as like outbound calling, right? So when I click on it, it will start dialing the number. So as soon as it's dialed, I'm going to cancel this. Okay, and yeah. So this is one of the way you can again start and dialing the number. Oops, here. So here it's connecting the number, and then once the number is connected, you can start having the conversation. Perfect. So I'm going to cancel it. Because I changed the capacity, it'll again consume like 100% of my space, and I got 5 minutes to complete the conversation as part of the wrap-up session. I can cancel this and free up my capacity to have another session started. Right. So those are some of the information which you usually use for the outbound dialing, because outbound dialing, sometime like customers see, like a lot of my customer face, okay, how can I dial the number? There is some small gap which we can fulfill with basic configurations using the phone call and dialing the phone call using the number, because system provides and support outbound calling also. But if you need to say system automatically dial the number automatically, right? So right now, there's some options are coming up, and soon you'll see a automatic dialer will be available. And again, automatic dialing can be done with some small setup and can be possible with the setup, right? Because you have a list right now, and you can use the same list to dial the number. Now, before I go ahead, let me open a marketing app and show you how the dialing will be done from agent experience side, right? So let's say I'm using a customer journey. I don't want to get into the marketing discussion right now, but just wanted to show you a journey, right? Let me see if this is the journey should I use. Okay, so okay, moment, you'll just load the screen. So what is the meaning of it actually? Let me open that outbound journey actually and show it to you. So let's say I have a list of customer journeys here, and I can use and pick any one of the journey. Let's say customer onboard, right? When customer onboard, send them an email, and if they open that email, book a phone call. Like if they have not opened an email, book a phone call after 2 days, like here. And then it will automatically create and that record in the dialing list, right? From the segmentation. Now, this is something system automatically create a dialing list for you, for your agent to start dialing the number. And your agent can simply click on a button, open the phone call. They have a list of all the phone call they need to dial today. And I can search due today or earlier, tomorrow, next 7 days, 30 days, etc. Because system automatically creates a due date from the customer journey. Because when I pick a template, I can simply select a template, what's the due date will be. And then I can simply dialing, like system will create a list of all the phone call activities, and I can start dialing the number by click on a button. So let's say if I open the same from here, I can simply click on, oops, there's no number. So I may cancel this, close this window. And again, I can, if I go back home, I see a list of other thing, and let me pick the same. I can again simply dial the number, click on a button, it will automatically open the dialer, like enter the number, and I can simply start the phone call, right? So those are some of the setups that is required if it's not done automatically for you. So those are something I actually set up, and this does not require a heavy configuration or customization. It's required some small change in small configuration in the process, and you see all this outbound dialing also available for you coming from the marketing app experience. So let's say here, that's a journey, standard journey. And any point of time I see I should dial the number of phone to the customer, I can simply pick up a phone call and start dialing. So these are some of the options which we have. And I would like to show, let me see if anything else is missing from my point of view before we call the day. Yeah, supervisor settings, like you can again start the intraday experiences from here. Right now I'm using a demo environment, so many things is not set up here. But again, I can initiate an intraday setup. Let's say I can show intraday insights. I can pre-configure my Power BI. It will again move to my workspace, and I can configure the Power BI using the workspace, right? So I can use my add existing workspace, and I can select my existing workspace. Right now I don't have any, so that's why it's not showing on the screen. So I can, this is one of the ways you can add your own embedded historic Power BI reports and embed inside the Dynamics 365. If I go back to the setting for the supervisor, Supervisor provides some of the ongoing conversation insights. So you can monitor a supervisor, you can assign, you can transfer this to supervisor, supervisor can transfer, supervisor can force close. So if I enable this, and if I go back to Omnichannel, let me refresh it because it requires a refresh. And just remember, Omnichannel takes some time to load because it will look for the capacity presents. So once I refresh the screen, it will tend to take like few seconds of time let's say within 30 seconds, it will load the screen, and all the data configuration which I mentioned, like made the changes, it will reflect immediately. Sometime if you make the heavy changes in the, let's say, change the widget, color widget, etc., of your for the portal, it may take 15 to 20 minutes, even sometimes half hour to see the changes. And obviously, it will show you a quick pop-up. It will take some time to reflect the change. So this is something for you to understand. Okay, let me show you a supervisor side. So now you see I have assign. If let's say some conversation is open, I can pick as a supervisor conversation. I can sign and route manually to an agent based on the capacity. If I know, I can transfer this conversation because I think this agent was not replying for a few minutes. I can monitor it and I can transfer this to and pick up manually and assign this to an agent. Any other agent, I can force close this. So let's say this conversation, customer not replying or agent not replying from last few minutes, and I see it's an activity from last, let's say, for a chat last 15 minutes. I think it's not interested or something, like their issue resolved. They're not replying, so I can pick a session and force close it because it will consume the agent's capacity. And at the same time, I don't want my sitting on idle and not having a conversation. And there are a lot of conversation is in the queue for me to resolve, right? So those are some of the experience a supervisor will get. An agent also will get to provide a good customer experience. So with this, I think I'm pretty much good and done. So yeah, that's about the screen for the dialing. Any questions? No questions?
How do you graphically take those bot conversations, or do you have it in a graphical mode to end, like
the conversation?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
It has a numbers or numerical.
Yeah, so each conversation, not only for bot, so let me open it, go back to, yeah, sorry about that. So you go to customer service app. I'm going to show you the example, right? So each conversation which I just had with a customer or anybody, it will create a session. Actually, it will create a kind of an activity for them. So I can pick a activity. I can see what was the conversation about, and let's say I can open a session. I can see a transcript, etc. I can click on the conversation, and it again open the transcript for me to see a conversation, right, assigned to them. So let's load. So here I can analyze a whole conversation with me and my customer. I can download this audio. I can again speed this up to listen it, and again I can download the transcript actually from the screen as a conversation. Yeah. Anybody, any questions? Are we good? Oops. Okay. Perfect. I think we are good. We finish early. So, oh, okay, a minute. Yeah, I have to set up the whole thing again. Nope. Okay. Oh, I think I have to change this. Okay, perfect. Anybody, any questions? Please put on the chat or let me know if you have any question. You can also reach out to me after the session to my email ID or look for LinkedIn. Just scan the QR code and I'll be available for you if you have any query related to customer service and Omnichannel. Thank you, everybody, for your time and see you next time. Thank you.